Hi guys, Steve the Transit Camper. Something a little bit different for you today. I'm just out in the backyard and the hot tub's not working again. Every time the pump comes in, it flicks out. So I've decided it must be the pump and the motor, whether any water's got in there or something's gone wrong. But what we're going to do is just 15-minute video, taking it apart, bit of a diagnosis, and then we'll tell you what my findings are at the end of it and how much it's probably going to cost me. So this is that extra door that I've put on the hot tub, make it easier to get to everything. A couple of screws, I've hinged it that side. Save taking the whole side off all the time. And that just opens up like that. I've also made it easier to get to everything. And this is the problem. So this is the motor, pump. And as you can see all the way around this motor, there is water dripping onto it. And I've got to think that maybe water's got inside this, which is causing the hot tub to trip every time the motor goes on. So that's what we're going to have a look at today, getting this out and seeing if it's all wet. So first things first, above the inlet, you've got these big taps, and inside, if you have a look, there's a little black insert. If you pull that out and let that valve close, so I can't really show you that very well on camera. Let's see. So you pull that little safety plastic off, as you can see there, and then you get your valve tap and close it, push it all the way in, twist it and lock it in, and that locks, and that hopefully will stop the majority of the water. See that? It's locked in there. And then you've got the same type of valve over there at the other end. It's just through that gap there, you can see it. It's difficult to show you this, but I'm going to put my hand on the inside. There's my hand. There's the little safety sleeve, just pulls off the shaft of the tap. And I'm going to push the valve down into its slot, turn it, twist it in, and that should lock it in. So hopefully we won't get too many leaks now when we disconnect the heater from the pump, which is this big white nut here. And we've also got this one here, which is the other side. I'll just go and get a big pair of grips, and for that I'm going to need little T next door. So been next door, got myself some grips. These are never murder tight. That's the one done. And these are going to leak a little bit. Now, can I get inside here? Let's just put you where you can see me. Not a lot of room here. They decided to mount this where the wood's right in the way. That's it. And these are going to keep leaking until the water finds its own level in the hot tub, because the valves don't shut particularly brilliantly. So we'll undo these that hold it on, 14mm. Dog's going crazy. Just going back and forth a bit here because they're very rusty. I don't want to completely chew the threads away. It's getting easier now. And you will see, as I do more and more of this, that the quality of the build is absolutely terrible on these hot tubs. Absolute junk. And it's a wonder it's lasted this long, got to be honest with you. This hot tub's now 6 years old, and I've replaced just about everything on it, bit by bit. And that's going to hang on to the bitter end. I don't know whether that bottom nut's turning as well, actually. Hope not. That makes things very awkward. Might actually even be broke off this. I've got a feeling it is. So we've struggled along there off camera. Undo your earth wire. Your main cable is easy because it's just plug and play. But we've got to work out, get some cutters and get the cable ties sorted. But this is free now, ish. But it's still really awkward to get out because they don't allow you enough room for absolutely anything. So you've just got to wiggle and waggle until it comes out. All these mountains of broke luck, rusted through, the chlorine's got to them, they're all, there's nothing really holding them in. That would just be glued in, useless. If I can get a bit of turn on this, that's it. Right, and that is the pump out, and I think I can see why it's failed. Let me show you. As you can see, that's had a good old leak on it for ages, and it's rotten through, and it might have got inside the motor at the back, look, and it might have got inside there as well. So we'll take that apart, we'll unplug this. It's just one plug into the control system, which I'll show you. Just pull it out, very simple, and then we can start cleaning this motor up and seeing if we can rescue anything from that. So this is the control panel. This was new last year because that got water in it and it failed. Make sure your power's off, obviously. These just slide up. And then pull off that way. On the inside it tells you what your fuses are and what your different things are. But I know that the motor cable, which is this one here, becomes that one there. But we'll go through it and make sure we've got the right one on the cables, and then you just unplug them. Simple. So we'll just follow this cable along, which is this one here. There's all cable ties. Let's just cut them off because we don't need them for a minute. We can tidy it all up after. These are what I've put on over the years to keep the cables out of the water. So following it round, and that one goes to this one, which isn't the one that I pointed out earlier. Squeeze in the connections. That is really tight. That's it. And that is it. And as you can see, we are free. And what I am curious to see more than anything is there water in here? Let's have a quick look at that. Because this trips even before the pump tries to do anything. So the motor doesn't even turn. And I know the motor's free, which would suggest that there's water in here maybe. And that is the problem. So you're looking in here the first time, same as me. And there is water in there. Now, is that enough water to cause it to trip out? That's the question. There is quite a lot in there, as you can see. So if we dry this out, we can put it all back together just run it from here, a quick blast, and see if the motor will start. So just look at the build quality here. That's all rusted away, the wood is all in the water. There's leaks everywhere. I tried to fix a lot of them last summer, but even the framework is all rusting away now. And this is 6 years old, this hot tub. You can see where the chlorine's been dripping down. You can see where I've resealed. Quite a number of these jets I've resealed, but they all start leaking again. But we're not going to give in just yet. So what I do need to do is replace these. I don't know whether I showed you properly, but that's a mounting between two bolts like that. The trouble is, these bolts just turn in the rubber. They're pretty useless really, but when they break off, the top piece breaks off and you're left with just that sticking out of the metal. And I have got 1, 2, 3 of those with a nut on the other side, murder tight and rusty. So I've got to get them off. So that's my next job, try and put a slot into each one of these. So this is for Matt really, this is all from Temu. My hobbies over the years, he'll love that.
So the time has come to show you all the new car camping gadgets and bits and bobs that I've recently bought from Temu. So as I kept hearing about Temu and kept seeing Temu everywhere, I thought I'd take a punt and do a couple of small orders.
And as predicted, Matt, the Temu thing was absolutely useless. You're unbelievable. So I've put a slot in all 3 of these using my angle grinder. Much easier, much quicker. Right, so in the end I had to grind that one off, That one was already off, and I had to drill that one out. But they're all out, and look at the state of them. Unbelievable. So that's the motor out now, and we're just draining it. Not a lot of water came from inside of it, but I have sprayed it full of water dispersant stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but I sprayed it. And it turns all right. It doesn't sound as though there's water inside it. So we'll leave that to dry now for 24 hours. And then we'll plug it in tomorrow and see if it works.